met traditioneel Aikido. Maar het wordt wel zeg maar een apart curriculum. We hebben dadelijk Aikikai Aikido, Kyushu Aikido, Blaze B, Sigal Aikido. Okay. En we hebben Kyushu Ditsu. Dat voor iedereen duidelijk is. Okay. Dus de stijl op woensdag is Kyushu Aikido, maar in de B-stijl. En we gaan zo meteen een aantal dingen, want we willen een aantal dingen op tape hebben en we willen een aantal dingen gefotografeerd hebben. Dus Gary gaat zo meteen techniek voordoen, jullie oefenen. Ik lees ze heel hard op en vervolgens gaat hij dat ding doen wat wij niet weten. Zodat wij het later terug kunnen gaan halen en in kunnen gevuld en curriculum. En daarmee kunnen we zeggen dat we eerst in Nederland zijn met dit curriculum. Voor iedereen duidelijk?
Als Gary iets voor gaat doen, kunnen we het dan hier een beetje vrij houden?
De middenstuk.
Middenstuk, dat de camera niet afgedekt is.
Dat vind ik nou weer lullig, hè? Dat ik weer kaas.
Nee, ik heb hem al extra hoger gezet, maar als jullie gaan staan, dan sta je ervoor.
Je moet laten voederen.
Ja, goed.
Is dat niet in het budget, hè?
Visagie.
Mag een staartje laten doen. Als ik al sta. Ja, ik zeg dat je die op kan hangen.
Heb je nou net uitgelaten?
Do we start with arm reflections Tigatana?
Yeah, Tigatana, I'll just show you Tigatana.
Tigatana, Renkan.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't really know.
You take part in and you do the
Okay.
technique,
All right.
and also people can do
Good.
practice.
Okay, cool. So this is basically, what I'm going to do now is pretty much a work in progress ever since I started Aikido. I took the basic Aikido that I learned back in 1991. The criteria that I will be doing is a lot of the stuff that I did on my yellow belt test back in June of 1991. And then I've added stuff. And even since the student manual, I've added stuff, and I think we've gotten all of it on down now. So, yeah. For Kihon Waza, which is yellow belt, our 6th Q, our Kihon Waza are very, very important. So one of the first things that we do is I teach, there's certain Aikido exercises that we do that I'll go over also, but the first arm deflection that I teach is Tigatana. So it's Tigatana, the idea is the person is here, I'm staying on the line. I don't get off the line, I stay on the line, and as she goes to grab, I'm actually cutting here to change the line of attack. I change the line of attack, but I don't get off of the line. So as this comes in slow, I cut here, and as this happens, I'm going to now tenkan. I turn this way. Okay. So the arm comes, I cut. Notice how her center is pointing off the line, and my center is still on the line. From here, I simply turn. She comes around. She grabs the other side. Again, I cut. Notice the motion, I cut down. I don't just do this. I cut everything down like a showman strike with a bokken. Here, 1, 2. 1, 2. As I do this, the first pressure point that we have on the 6th Q comes into play, which is going to be large intestine 11, which is right here on the outside of the arm. The significance of this is as I cut this down, I will affect the legs slightly. I want to break the structure. Crucial in my Aikido is breaking the structure. You know, some people say take the center. It's the same thing. I just call it breaking structure, which I stole from Sistema. So as she cuts, I cut down here. 1, 2, here, 2. Now watch how I keep my hanmi. There are 2 different ways to do this, but as I do this, as she comes into grab, I'm going to step, strike, turn. Keep my feet still, step, as I do this. Okay? So that's the basic drill for the Roku level. Cutting down, controlling the structure, breaking the structure, controlling uke, turning, like this. At this point, she will reach in, cut, turn again. So at the very end of the test, or during the test, the last technique that I'll have you do when you're demonstrating is Hijiatoshi. Hijiatoshi to me is one of the most paramount techniques that I teach, and it's elbow drop. So as the person comes here, I cut one, turn, open the door, and I take the elbow back behind uke. It's got cut down. In a lot of traditional Aikido, the technique is done out, but not how I do it. Here, down, straight down. The pin for this, which I'll show in just a moment because I want to be on the other side. So, 1, 2, 3. Take the arm at the face, and it's a kotegaeshi pin. Nice, I consider a horse stance, right above her. Always facing uke, not facing behind the uke. Facing uke. The arm is extended straight. You push the whole thing, the shoulder into the ground. If they're very flexible, you take the arm further towards the head, then down, till they tap. Once that happens, slide the arm down your leg, press into the back. Stay there. This maintains control between here and here. If my leg is not here, this just moves freely. There's nothing to control. So from here, this controls this person like this. This part is when you're the most vulnerable. So at this point, once I've got control, I step away, maintaining connection. Okay? Don't ever just turn and walk away. That's bad. So she grabs 1, 2, 3. Okay? I forgot to be in the middle, so
No, it's okay.
I'll remember. There, girl. Help me remember. Stay. There. So for the distance, yeah. Help me remember to stay behind this line. So one thing I do want to point out real quick is when you take the person down, so go ahead and lay down real quick. After I've taken them down, in order to get them onto their stomach, most people aren't going to just roll over for you. Now, don't roll over. Okay, don't let me turn you over. That just doesn't work, right? So instead what I do is after I've taken the person down, I create this nice curve. You're going to follow the natural curve of the body. So as I do this, I cross step. The reason being, I don't want to stand like this and be a target, have my groin be a target for someone. So I cross step. This comes at the face, and this comes down by the belt to turn them over. The only way a person could resist that is if you tore their shoulder out of socket. Okay? So again, for this one, it's 1, 2, 3. Roll over. Okay? Good. So let's move on. So the next part of the Rokyu level test is going to be 3 arts from behind the back. That's called Ushiro, which is from behind, to Kubitori, which I've been told means 2 wrists held behind the back. There are 2 ways that we do this. One from static, so from here with no motion. Okay? This is to show basic understanding. From here, I've got my left foot, my right foot back, my left foot front. Whatever foot is back, that's the side that I'm going to move to. Very important about Ushiro. Any Ushiro attack is never let them pull you back behind here. You have to keep your wrists in front of you. Okay. Okay? So from here, what I do is I leave one hand down, hand in the shade, the other comes up, and I used to tell students that just follow your fingertip up, 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 just like this. So now you are facing Uke. Notice her structure, how she's broken, but mine is still staying straight. It's crucial. I step in here and let my hands fall naturally, just down. I don't shove down, I just move my hips. Santing, from here, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Mistakes that I see on this when people do this test, or when this technique, they bring this hand up. Okay? This has got to be down. This is the hand in the shade, folks. Here. Boom. I used to call this the John Travolta move. You know, staying alive, and he comes up and does. So that's from static. And then we'll do it in motion. So as Uke comes, I offer the hand. She's going to come down, come around and grab this other side. Now, something that's very important about this is the initial blend. My initial blend is what I'm looking for on this test. Here and back forward. So it's here, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Notice the throw is down. It's not out. Okay? Got that one? Ushiro Takubitori, Kokinagi. Static, and then in motion. Okay. And it's over.
It's loud. It's loud.
A couple things about this. One, as Uke, from here, present the hand to me, so I'm going to do it too. When you do this and you come around for the grab, don't do this. I call that airplaning. Right? Instead, you know, just come around and grab it pretty quickly. The reason being is no one is going to do that. Now you also may say, no one's going to grab you like this. That's true. But what I'm gearing you up for is someone may come up and grab you like this and pull you into something. This is a valid attack. But remember, this is Roku. And if I had a brand new student that's never trained before, and I tell her to defend against this, they're not going to be able to do that. But instead, if she presents a hand, and I come around here, that simulates that motion, and then she has something to work with. Okay? So as you're doing these attacks in motion, remember that. The next one for Ushiro Takubitori is Kotegaeshi. So again, I'm always in a hanmi. In this case, my right side is back, my left side is forward. Notice where my hands are at. They are not back here. They are always going to be here. So from here, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn. I'm going to start my turn this way. So as I do this, my left hand will slide behind my back. Come around. Right here. As I do this, this hand comes here. My right hand comes to the top of the wrist. Okay? Not the bottom. It's going to mess you up if you try that. It happens all the time. Comes to the top of the wrist. As I turn, I don't take this hand out of her grip. I use my entire body to turn it out of her grip. I don't try to do this. I do this instead. Watch how I turn my hand. Here. This puts her in perfect position for Kotegaeshi. Now the first way that we do Kotegaeshi is straight down here. The wrist bends like this, the elbow bends here, the shoulder here. We don't take this to the side. That's not natural. It'll cause damage this way. This way, we take this index finger, this is the one that we're going to work on, push it towards the outside, curl down. Just like this, straight down. The rollover is exactly the same. Here, over, and pin. One, 2, 3. Straight down. Into the pin. In motion, it looks like this. 1, 2, 3. Questions? Got it? All right. All right, good. Bashir, Scooby engage. You good with the camera? No one's in the way? Okay. So the next one is Sayunagi. Right? So from here, again, one hand, or I'm in a hanme, in this case, left foot is back. But we actually did this last night. So from here, one hand stays in front, one hand goes behind. So I'm going to switch my feet so you can see this. This thumb comes up, and I hook the wrist, just like this. Don't grab it, just hook it. One, and as I do this, I'm moving my hips. See how that moves her off balance? One, and this hand at the same time starts to come up, over, and back. So without someone there, just hold on 1 second, it looks just like this. One, so from here, I turn, up, and down. Stop. Here. Straight down. So in motion now, as she comes around, there comes a point where I'm leading her here. Okay? 1, 2, 3. There are a lot of variations of this, guys. I come straight into her face and down. Uke's got to move her face out of the way or they get hit. I see people do this. Like that. That's some people that's okay. I don't like that. I want at the face, up, down.
Have you taken that on the photo?
Say what?
The last one with the elbow.
Okay. All right. Bumped it. Okay. There's another variation of this. This becomes the hand you do Sayunagi with. The initial hand that's grabbed is now the one that I do Sayunagi with. So after I've done the 3 techniques from behind, from static and motion, then we switch to work katate ryotatori in the front, which means 2 wrists held in front. So the first technique is Shihonagi, and it's done 2 ways. One, you guys call it the mota and ura and the mota. I call it irimi and tenkan. So the first one is as I turn, this hand goes into my wrist. I'm already moving her center. I don't just try to use just my wrist. I use my whole body with this. As I do this, now I start my tenkan motion. Very important to keep this in front of your face here. If not, it gets back here and she can just pull you over. And I see a lot of people do Shihonagi that way. 1. From here, I've got the arm here. Both hands, we drop this straight down. Just like this. From here we're going to the pin, but I'll say that for a minute.
Can you make a focus slow motion?
Same side or this side? Which side do you want?
You have to finish it this way, and start this way so I can move around.
Sure, I don't know how to do it.
No, the other side. I just start this. Stop.
So with the pin now. The pin is tough on this one, guys. If you're very flexible, you can get out of this pin pretty easy. So I try to do it in such a way that I can keep a person to the ground the whole time. So from here, 1, 2, here. As I drop down, I drop to that inside knee. I'm now going to transition to Seiza right above her head as I take my hand on the elbow and drop down. Notice I'm using my entire body when I push her down. I'm not doing this. I sit down all the way, pinning that elbow above her head. Now what you might not be able to see, but the camera can see, is I'm curling this wrist to the outside. So basically I'm using Kotegashi, a Kotegashi wrist turnout, to put pressure on the wrist and the elbow at the same time. This comes here. Don't leave it here. It curves inwards here. It's like that, okay? So it's 1, 2, down.
Do you use also pressure points now?
Huh?
Do you also use pressure points now?
Not at this point. Remember, the Roku level test only has 5 pressure points. Okay. Keep in mind, instructors, this is beginning level. If you give them too many things to do, they're never going to accomplish it. So I like to put pressure points in with the first of the 6th cube that are only done in something you're already doing. Like the large intestine 11, you're hitting there anyway. You don't even have to think about it. The next one I'm going to show you is going to be from the Ikkyo pin, and I can show you that. For the Ikkyo pin, when you do this, you'll be using triple arm 11 heart 2. But, so for now, Shihonage, done with Tenkan. That's the pin there. Okay? Now, 2 versions. There's always entering, there's always turning. So to enter with this one, rather than come this way, now I shoot the lower hand down, and I create the opening here. This is the door. Hands in front, down, enter the pin. I forgot. After you pin the person here, you don't want to just leave them on their face. 2 things you can do. Strike the bridge of the nose. That would cause tearing, so their eyes would water. Strike them there. Or simply, once you pin here, you can also let go of this. Take this arm if it's close. If not, simply push her over this way. Maintain control. Move back. One more time. From here, Shiko, down, strike, push her over. Is that good? Samir, I'm going to use you in just 1 second. So, yeah, I want to come over here. There's one thing to beat up on a cute little girl. There's another thing to beat up on a big, scary looking dude. So when you get to this point, folks, I see a lot of people do Shihonage with 1 hand. That's okay. If you're a black belt and you want to do that, that's great. But I teach in Kihon to have both hands. There are a lot of different things. When I first started doing this, I was taught to bring the elbow up and down. But by the end of his life, Sosa Sensei had just taught straight down. So this right here is a matter of just straight here. Down is what he would used to say. Okay? So this is it's not a throw that way, because I'll just walk out of it. And you're not taking the wrist this way. Understand? Just like in Kotegashi, this is natural, this is natural. In Shihonage, if you take it this way, you're going to damage their elbow or their shoulder or their wrist or possibly all 3. So here, we just take this straight down. And then, of course, you follow with the pin. So, Samir? Yes? So, if he's strong, he's very strong. Don't let me do this, okay? If I try to pull him down, push him down, I'm never going to get this, guys. Never going to happen. But if I just stay relaxed and drop down, he just goes down. Not because I'm stronger or better than he is, simply because he has nothing to fight against. If I give him something to fight against, he's got it. But if I just stay relaxed, it's just down, right? Sosa Sensei was very big on that at the end of his life. He changed some things up, and so I've always remembered that, and that's how I do Shio-Nage. It's always just straight down, okay? Thank you. All right, let's move on to Katachitori Hantai. So, you have it? You might call this something different. Hantai is opposite side. What do you guys call this one? Aihanmi. Okay, for me, Aihanmi means simply stance. Natural stance. Gaku Hanmi would be open stance, like this. So, but for this, I call this Katate Tori, which is wrist grab. Same side, or opposite is Hantai, opposite. So, the first technique that we used to do would be Ikkyo. 1, 2, and then enter here, or Tenkan here. So I still teach that as far as the traditional Aikido goes. I come here at the face, so that you notice I've already broken her posture. Watch, I don't do this because she's still stable. This comes at the face as if I were going to smack her and then punch her. 1, 2, 3. Now, as you do this, here's the most important, excuse this way, slide there. The most important part of this that I like is the pin. Ikkyo pin is very formal and very traditional, but there are some things you learn from this that are important. As you come down, you put the arm slightly above 90 degrees. You will keep your fingers underneath the wrist. It gives it a little gap under there. The elbow needs to be pointed straight up. Right now it's kind of pointed up this way, so I roll it just straight up. The first pressure points that I teach are right here. Triple warmer 11 behind the elbow, and then heart 3, which is along the medial nerve right there. When I do this, I use this part for triple warmer 3, and I use this for heart 2, the thumb. As I do this, I kind of pinch. This releases the elbow so that I can hyperextend it easier. For someone with very, very strong arms, if you're trying to pin her and hyperextend it, they may be very strong and resist this. But I don't want to take a chance of resistance, so I stop that by using those pressure points. When you do that, it releases the antagonistic muscles in the elbow and makes it a lot easier to hyperextend. So after you pin her and she's tapped, I keep this control, switch, maintain control here. Again, same concept. I put my leg right there to brace it up against. Same thing we've already done. That's what I call my after action. So I did Tenkan last time. We'll do Irimi this time. 1, step straight through. 2, 3. You need that again? Right here. All right? Now to the way that I do this. That's what I call traditional. Then I have practical. Practical Ikkyo is here. This comes here. This steps in just like this. Boom. And as I do this, this catches here. This comes right to triple warmer 11, the same point that we just taught, and it comes down just like that. The rest of this pin is exactly the same, guys. Other side, you want me to do the outside? Now, why I like that versus the old way. The old way is good. But why go forwards if you come back? Seems like a lot of wasted motion to me. Okay? This also gives Uke an opportunity to get out of this, but let's not even look at that. The other thing I like is when I come in here and do this, where's the technique done? Straight down. Phone booth Aikido. That's where you want it. Okay? Thank you. Go. So shall we just skip Nikyo, because you guys know how I do Nikyo. I mean, you guys have seen how I do the pin, where I have the top, bottom, and I cut down into the medial nerve, right? Nikyo pin.
Yeah,
You know that, right?
yeah,
Okay, so I don't need to show that right now.
but I don't need components, so I can.
Okay. Contact. So the way I was taught to do this in the beginning is step off line, come over and down, right? And I like that. The only thing I like to do different now is rather than step off line, now I do it with my center. So here, this comes up, straight up. I control the hand, because if she does that, let's go, I've got nothing, right? So control the hand. This comes over the wrist, and it's like it comes straight down here. Boom. From this position, I take this hand off, take it towards it, and it's like just like Ikkyo at this point. Straight down. Now always have uke face away from you, and you're going to see why. As I drop to this knee, I transfer the hand into the crook of the elbow, and my knee bumps up against the back of her head here. Okay, so your head moves, badonk. Sorry. As I do this, I'm sitting down, and then watch my transition. As I sit, I pinch the wrist in my hand. My back is straight. I use this part of my hand to cut into the medial nerve on the inside of her arm. Right through here. Here, this goes down, this comes up. Tenshi, heaven and earth. Down, and that's how you drive the shoulder into the ground. Boom, just like this. Back is straight on someone who's very flexible like she is. As I cut this, I lean towards the head. That's how you do this pin. Good straight? Again, at the end, we just transfer this into here. Maintain control. Move back. Okay? That is Shikaku. That is the correct angle, or the safe angle. Different than Sanka. So, Ikkyo. What's the next question you have, Leo? Shall I explain Shoto wa Seisho now, or do we have anything else?
Yes, that's what we have. And then the deflections.
Okay. So, that is a lot of the yellow belt test. There are some other things that we have for the Rokyu. Oh, there is one I need to show. Okay. So, because this isn't, I used to do this one way, now I do it another. So, there are 5 pressure points for Kyusho in each of the beginning levels. The first one was triple arm 11 in part 2. I also showed large intestine. 11 here. Lung 5 is the next one I'm going to show. And from Munedori here, mid-level, one arm mid-level grab, as I create the motion, because this is from static, I strike into lung 5. This breaks the posture. Again, I'm breaking the structure. As I do this, this comes up here, and I grab the head, and I don't grab hard, I just basically just relax and drop my arm here. Again, where's the technique? Down, right? For the technique, for the test, you always put them over on their front and do the kotegashi pin. Don't worry about that right now. So again, from here, since this is a static position, it's important for me to see that my students can create motion and break structure. Here, here. The other one that I have my students do from here, instead of striking lung 5, actually, reverse this, I just now remember. Lung 5 is when they're coming from before the grab. From static, the way I create motion is I grab part 2, again, part 2, and we'll be on the side. Large intestine 13, the poo-poo point. As you do this, you grab this here, like a shark, and pull this in and down. That's the posture, you break the structure. So from static, Munedori, Kokyunagi starts here, here, here. Like this, bring this out, down. Okay? That's the static version. Then in motions when we use lung 5. As she comes to grab, I catch her like this and do this. I really want to do that. I mean, not so bad. But that's the idea. It comes in here, strikes. This comes here and down. This is Funakogi. That's where you use that. Which brings me up another. Have a seat. In each one of the beginning tests, the beginning of each test, you have to demonstrate 2 Aikido exercises. And I have 5 or 6 basic Aikido exercises. The first one being Tenkan. The count would be like this. Ichi, ni, ichi, ni, sun, shi. Okay? That's Tenkan Undo. The next would be Shomanuchi Ikkyo Undo. So on Ichi, the hips come forward, not so far you can't see your toes. The hips come forward, the hands come up, and in a bladed position this way. Not straight, your shoulders are turned just like this. Not like this, and not like that, but like this. The thumb is down. This is pointing slightly at your elbow with elbows down. That's Ichi. On knee, they just drop straight down, hips move back. So it looks like Ichi, knee, Ichi, knee, Ichi, knee, Ichi, knee, sun, shi. Other side, Ichi, knee, sun, shi. I have you also apply those techniques. So out of all the 6 that you could do, I will pick 1 or 2. The sensei will say, show me Tenkan Undo. You have to show it and then apply it to your uke. Okay? So out of 6 of them, you don't know which one sensei is going to choose, so you got to know all 6 of them. Not that I'm sneaky. So that's Shomanuchi Ikkyo Undo. Okay? The next one is what I call Udafuri Chako Undo, which I think means spinning leverage exercise. Right hand front, left hand behind, right foot in front. Slide step, very important. Pivot, slide step. In exact order. Slide, pivot, slide. Slide, pivot, slide. Do not come up on your toes like a ballerina. You are not ballerinas. You might be, but I'm not. So don't do that. The feet peek down. Your head will actually dip here, but that's only because you're center lower. So it's Ichi, ni, Ichi, ni, sun, shi. And then I have you apply that. Sayo Undo is the next one. It starts here. You start with your hands up, feet just about shoulder width apart, hands at your center, looking off to the right. Ichi, ni, Ichi, ni, Ichi, ni, Ichi, ni, sun, shi. Notice some things about this. My head stays forward. On the count of the first one, the hands drop naturally. You use that natural momentum to swing your arms over. Don't do this, okay? You let them swing, they settle. Very important. Ni, Ichi, ni, Ichi, ni, sun, shi. Combine this with Sayo Undo. Now what we do is we look, step, this. Take that back. We look, we step to the front, come up, down. Ichi, ni, Ichi, ni, Ichi, ni, sun, shi. Very important that you do it like that. This footstep indicates kicking. So if someone were to come and grab both hands, this, I come in here, I kick spleen 6, wham! Then over and down. That's not on the test. But just for you guys, what are the 2 triple yin points on the body? Spleen 6 and deception vessel 3. Okay? So you've got 2 triple yin points on the body, which makes this a very powerful technique. As you do this, let me turn this a little bit. Okay? That sounded profane. That's on video. I catch this right here, right on spleen 6. Again, this is not for this test. I'm just explaining. Okay? So as I do this, boom, here. This comes up. Now where is my hand? Remember I told you always to have it here? Right at conception vessel 3. Never, ever, ever hit this on the female. Don't do it. I will come unglued. That means, that's American for I will be super pissed off and scream at you all day long, okay? Never hit a girl on that point, okay? I thought that was someone's phone. Okay. So that is Sayo Undo. Turn, step, hands come out, settle. Turn, down, up, down. I almost step backwards. That used to be step back, that's why I changed it. That's Sayo Undo. That's the 6 techniques that I show. There are a couple other ones, but I don't worry about for testing. Okay? So when I asked for that, if David was testing, I'd be sitting here with the other sensei. I'd say, dare to come up. She'd do that. I'd say, show me. I want to see Tenkan Undo. She'd show me that, and I'd say, now apply it. She'd bow to her partner would come up, and she can apply whatever she wants. She just has to show me how she uses the principle of Tenkan. Oh, the most freaking important one, and I forget it. Jeez. Funakogi Undo is the most important Aikitaiso of all of them, in my opinion. It's also the funniest looking one. So from here, right foot forward, left foot back, hands down, relaxed posture. Your hips come forward, the hands come up to your waist, not like this. They shoot out and down, not rigid. They're not locked. They're just extended. Boom. Hands are back, wrists are extended forward, like you're going to hit somebody with that. On count 2, your hips come back, the hands drop straight down. They don't do this. This is hula dancing. We don't hula dance in my Aikido class. Okay? Out and down and back. 1, 2. Ichi, ni, ichi, ni, sun, shi. You cannot name a single Aikido technique that doesn't have Funakogi in it. So I say apply Funakogi. You can do any technique you want. It has application of Funakogi. Okay? So everything is all about taking the structure. Hips, hands, hips, hands, hips, hands, hips, hands. There's a way to test that, but that's for later levels. Okay? So those are all the exercises that I show for the testing. Shodo Seiso. So that was Roku. Roku, the theme for that test is called Regi. Okay? And that means respect and etiquette. So for the first level, the term that I want you to know and understand is how you show respect and etiquette in the dojo. When you come in the door, you bow. When you get on the mat, you bow. You get off the mat, you bow. You leave, you bow. And you bow, when you're done, the instructor is doing it. All the time you're supposed to bow and show respect. So that is very important for Roku level. Gokyu level is even more important, in my opinion, and it's called Shodo Seiso. Shodo Seiso is the theme for Gokyu, and it means control the first move. Everything that I do is so important about this. All my Aikido is wrapped around Shodo Seiso. And that means as she comes to grab or punch or kick or whatever, I don't just wait and then do my technique. Okay? That's not how it's done. It's done as right before she comes. If I want to control that first move, this is how I've done it. I've led her mind by not being right here or here. Boom. I don't want to be right here. So controlling that first move is as she comes, I might do this and see how she's off balance now? That's how you control technique. So for blue belt level tests, every technique, where in yellow belt you might start from static, boom, or boom. In Gokyu, everything would be here now. You don't start from static, you start from motion. Okay? Everything is before the grab. That's Shodo Seiso, crucial to my Aikido. Leo, what's next? I explained Aikido. Oyo Henka is continuous flow. So back up to, it just means continuous, right? So you just keep going. So for instance, on the Roku level test, the very last part of the test is Yokomen Kokinagi. And Yokomen Kokinagi, she comes in and strikes here, bonk. What I do is I just come here and cut her down. She gets right back up, strikes again. I cut her down. Oops, cut her down like that. Now recorded. And this just happens continuous until Sensei says stop. That means continuous flow. The last one you would pin, your heart rate's up, then we go into Kokidosa. Kokidosa is also another thing that is absolutely vital to my Aikido. So I'm not sure I can say them, I want to try. So this is sitting extension exercise. The idea is that my arms come out like this. She puts her hands on my wrist like this, and she pushes straight in. I extend past her so she doesn't push on me, she pushes on the ground. I do this, she rolls back up. I extend the other way, she lets go. She comes back up, and I want to keep this going fast and furious. So she goes over, she comes back up. And the last one is a pin. So we sit to the side of her. This is very difficult to do. It looks simple, but I'll show you what. This hand comes to the shoulder, this hand comes to the wrist, and I have this motion. So let's turn this. Looks very simple, but it's not. Here and here. She will put her hand on my wrist, like this, turn over. That's fine. And she's going to try to push me up and lift me up. Okay? The idea is that you stay stable. Now you might be thinking, well, she weighs a $105 soaking wet, and I weigh a little bit more than that. But that's not what the action is. If I tense up, push me, she can push me away. If you try to hold someone down, you won't do this. You have to control their center. So as you do this, go ahead. I'm actually thinking about controlling her one point. At that point, she can't move, and you can tell a difference. Okay? That takes a long time to develop that. I don't expect you to master that for your first test. But I want to see it. Okay. Next.
What means Niyuke? I understand.
2 ukes, randori.
Deashi.
We don't do Dayashi till later. But Dayashi is, okay, so in Roku level, yellow belt, you don't have to do randori. That's too much. Okay?
We're done yellow.
Yeah, yellow belt's done. So blue belt is basically, you have to do every attack that I said. So there'll be a bunch of grabs. Ushiro Dori, which is a bear hug. Bear hug, bear hug. This is, you do the one technique from here. Then you do Ushiro Tsukubitori. You can do a technique from here. And then Ushiro Tsukubitori Kubishimi, which is one hand around the throat and one hand down. Okay, she holds on to this. This is Kubishimi. Ushiro Tsukubitori Kubishimi. Okay, thank you. And the the nage, you get to choose whatever art you want to do for that. Where in the yellow belt, I tell you what you're going to do. Well, now it's up to you. You can choose whatever technique you want. I wouldn't get too fancy with it. I would try to keep it basic. Okay? So, those are the 3 Ushiro Tsukubitoris, or Ushiro attacks. Bear hug, hands, and Kubishimi.
Which belt are those attacks?
What?
Which belt?
Blue.
Blue belt.
Yeah, there's a that's blue belt. Hang on a second, okay? And in the layout in the new one, the one that I just did on the computer, I tell you what all those are.
Okay, good.
That's in the student manual, but not right there in front of you.
But Deashi.
Dayashi
Deashi.
shouldn't be at a blue belt level. I hope not.
Is there anything else in blue belt that we haven't touched on?
Let me look. Aikitaisos.
Okay, so these are just the different ones. That's from seated, don't worry about that. Law, those are just emphasis. So that 2-man randori, basic and slow. Okay? And then go to those I just showed you. So that's good for this.
Oh,
So yeah, you didn't show certain, okay.
good. So, on deflections for blue belt. The first, the yellow belt test, you do Tigatana. Tigatana Tenkan. Right? Cut, turn. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Again, this hand comes up here to strike or for protection. I may not have said that earlier. I meant to. Okay? That's Tigatana Tenkan. The next one should be Ukenagashi. So for here, Ukenagashi is rising deflection. So as this elbow, or collapsing elbow deflection. Arms pointed at Uke. Elbow comes up as if I'm going to strike, changing the line of attack. Once you've got here, you simply turn and face the same direction. 1, 2, that's it. of people will do this and make that exaggerated. You don't need to do that. It's just here, down. Okay? Suriagi, one thing about uke negashi is if you don't relax, you'll never get this. Your arm has to be relaxed. Otherwise, it just goes boom like that and it won't work. It has to be relaxed. Boom. Suriagi is a rising deflection. Okay? The way I show this one is from Shomen. She steps in to strike Shomen here. As she does this, I step back. I can stay connected to Musubi right here. She steps in. I step back like that. Hands up. In the beginning, I'll do it slow. In the beginning, I teach people to do it this way. I change it to this, and that's how we do this. On occasion, you need to come here and take that hand down also. A Suriagi is rising deflection. And you can stand right here, and they can try to hit you as hard as they want, but you move, take that, they won't be able to hit you. Boom, slow. Now, notice where her center is pointed and where my center is pointed. That's the beauty of Suriagi. You are now in Shikaku, and you didn't have to move an inch. It's all mindset. Okay? That's Suriagi. Those are the 3 arm deflections for blue belt.
From ski, Suriagi, is this motion?
Ski, yes. So from ski, Suriagi is here. Right? Or whatever technique you're going to do. Sorry, slow. So now you're taking Suriagi from a big motion, whoosh, to this much smaller, faster motion. Okay?
Dashi? Deers?
Do you want Dayashi?
Yeah, we don't know what it is.
Purple belt's Dayashi. So Dayashi is the way I was told. I don't know if this is the true translation of this or not, but I was told it means crucial moment, okay, or weathering the storm. The way we do Dayashi in the test is I have 3 people line up from Seiza, and it's single pass Dayashi. So they jump up and they try to tackle me, and I have to cut past them and stay standing. They don't turn around and attack me again. It's just single pass. Okay? Boom. And your goal is to stay up and not get tackled. Seems easy. That should be for purple belt.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, Tom. I forgot. I gotta be back here.
Okay. We're still in the frame.
I can show Dayashi if we do it slow. You want me to demonstrate Dayashi slow? Yes? All right, 2 more attackers, please. Who's going to push? So let's come over here so Tone can get us in again.
That's okay, it's okay.
We're good? Okay. So the idea behind this, and don't go fast, guys. I need to show this. Is you sit right here and you wait until Sensei says Hajime. When you do it, you come down, boom, jump up, they come at you. The idea here is to lead them to you. If you back up, you give them more momentum to kill you with. All right? If you jump up, Hajime, boom, and you start doing this, they just follow you and kill you. And they will hit you hard. If the uke does not hit Nage hard, I will yell at them and make them go sit their butts down and get someone up who will. If you take it easy on Nage in this, it'll never work. You have to give 100% commitment. As a result, only advanced students do this. Right? You don't get people that can't take a chemi or don't know how to safely do this. Also, if you volunteer for Dayashi, understand there's a good chance you're going to get injured. Right? It happens. That's why we only do it in testing. Right? So, what you want to do is when Sensei says Hajime, boom, you jump up. Stop, Bridget. You hold the line, and as they collapse towards you, you move one way or the other using a cross-body deflection, moving past them. You don't, Hajime, boom. You don't just stay here, because they will kill you. Instead, which side do you go to? Chocolate or vanilla, guys. It doesn't matter. You just pick a side and you go.
You can't sit here and think, all right, this time I think he's going to be faster, I'm going to go. No, it doesn't work like that. You just maintain, hold, 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 hold. Here they come. Hold, 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 hold. Boom! And then move past them. Looks really easy. Okay? But these guys are moving really slow. But that's the idea. Dayashi, you have to jump up. You have to be comfortable with the fact that they are coming full speed. You accept the consequences in your mind, and you move regardless. That's called irimi, to enter without fear. Doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you will recognize there are consequences, and you proceed regardless. Does that make sense? Okay. Dayashi. Very, very, very important.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
So, purple belt.
Second purple belt
Okay.
means in close defense.
So here's where your second purple is which is Sonkyu. This is where your Aikido starts to come together for you, hopefully, to make it from something big and flowing to a little bit tighter, to a little bit more practical. Which also means it's no longer quite as pretty. So what she's got here, the first thing that we work on is usually from a grab, she will strike, and I have to learn to defend against this. The next thing we'll do is she will hook the back of my head and elbow me in the face. Boom. I have to learn to defend against this. Usually, as this happens, okay, you usually use your deflections. So from here, boom, just like this, and you enter in. You have to understand, sometimes you have to come underneath the attack, right? So that's the first in-close attack. The second in-close attack might be she might grab both hands like this and throw knees. Boom, like this. This one, boom, you have to shoot the arms down in your kick deflection, okay? It's just very tight now. So headbutt, same thing. She grabs me to come up and headbutt like this, donk like this. You would have to cut and move. This is where Kyushu is important. If you strike here, that gains you a little bit of time and space to create something here. So that's another place you would use Kyushu. You could use the points in the inguinal crease. I'm not going to do it to her, but you come in basically and you just hit her right where the hips bend. Very uncomfortable. That bends the person. They won't headbutt you at that point. If they grab and you bring her in like this, well, she's going to headbutt you anyway. So that won't make any sense to do that. But you can come up here and turn. Now you've changed the dynamic. So in close is very, very important. And we'll spend some time, and usually if people get hit, I'll sometimes put like pads on and have them do that. And sometimes we just go to town. Okay? So it'll be headbutts, elbows, and knees. And you have to defend against those. Make sense?
And what about groundwork?
So groundwork. There's some basics, and then things are a little bit more complicated. So the first thing that I teach is the same thing I was taught by Sosa Sensei way back in 1991 or 2. The first one is she's going to be holding my arms down. Okay? So the idea behind this is you can't force straight up into her. What you've got to do is get one down, and then you're going to have to buck your hips up and over, and then you get to your feet as fast as possible. Boom, and move back. So that's the first one. Bring the arm to the side, buck up and over, project them out, and then get up. It's not a ground fight, it's just getting back to your feet. Okay, the second one will be, choke. And on this one, I do require her to really choke you. So you have to take a deep breath, and then she will actually choke you, and if you don't move, then you're in trouble. But it's simple to do this because both of her weapons are here. There's a couple of different ways to do this. The easiest way is just to buck her forward. Okay? I like to come underneath on triple warmers, 11, just hyperextend the elbow and push her up and over like that. And then, of course, I get to my feet. Another way to do it is just do one side or the other. You could break this here and then move her over to like that, just so that you get away from that. The last one you do for this particular exercise, well, she'll be up and she's going to punch at you, and you have to defend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then move her up and over. Okay? And then get to your feet. You always finish that up with getting to your feet. Those are the basic ground defenses. And I think that I might have you, I can't remember, I think you might also break guard. So you guys, I've shown you guys how to break guard, right?
Everybody's looking at me like they're crazy. Give me someone and just, Richard. So you don't have a skirt on, it won't look obscene, or less obscene. So put it on your back. So, you know what the guard is? Wrap it up high, lock your legs. So to get away from this, you establish a base first. Here's your base. You want to stay away from it because he's going to be striking, right? I will use the points on the inside of the leg, which is also on the test, okay? Variable pressure. If I just push and he resists, his body can get used to that. But if I use variable pressure, you do this. From here, you slide over, boom, then you get to top mount and continue, okay? So that's how you break guard. And I think I have that on purple belt test. Brown belt test, I think I have you escape from side control.
Yeah, well, I'm looking. Sorry.
And I'm sweating.
Got no tissues
Side control, back mount.
on the corner.
So, first ground level, mount, guard, side control, back mount.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Great.
back man.
Okay.
What about the Suwadiwata and the Hamyadachiwata? No Suwadiwata?
They're like dying. My knees are screwed up. Almost every Aikido person I know, you know, we're too big and, you know, unflexible to sit seiza. We're not designed to do that. Not to mention, name one other time besides Aikido class that a normal person sits seiza. You're never going to have to defend yourself from sitting seiza because you never sit seiza. But how often do you sit in a chair? All the stinking time. Every restaurant, every bar, every place, except for the place that y'all took me yesterday, it was like shaped like a big boat. You just stood at the table. I'm like, you got to pay this much for food, you don't even get a chair. That's a ripoff. But the food is good. So, what was the name of that place?
Sweet Sadie.
There you go. Good place. So I do have you defend yourself against, in Hanmi Handashi now, is you're sitting in a chair and your uke tries to attack you while you're sitting in a chair. Can't do it on mats, you'll mess up the mat, so we have to do it off, you remove the mats and do that. So that's what I do Hanmi Handashi now, and it's in a chair.
But no Suwadiwata.
I don't do Suwadiwata.
It's cool.
Oh, kick defenses. Sean? So kick defenses, I think, are purple belt, first purple or second purple. I don't remember which.
First purple.
Okay. So the first thing.
Sorry, second purple.
Okay. Samkyu,
Yes.
right?
Two defenses against
Yeah.
front snap,
Second
side
purple
kick,
back.
roundhouse, spinning, back kick.
Okay. So the first one, of course, is front snap kick. We're just dropping here, and you can do. There's a lot of options you can do. The first one I teach, of course, here in Himinagi. Okay. Again. You can also do here. Catch. Oh, sorry. Do it one more time. Catch it. Roll it from here. Turn this way. I step in to block the knee. I don't want him kicking me in the head. So this, I use spleen 6 for. I drive this into here, and I do spleen 6. Okay? From there, if you want, you can roll them over, and then back out. Another one would be Sayonagi. Here, here. Okay, Sayonagi. There are a couple other ones, but those are the ones I like. There is one where you attack the standing leg. I worry about it because I'm afraid someone's going to hurt someone's knee that way. It's never happened, but it could. Roundhouse. So, boom. As you do roundhouse, I basically cover like this because you don't know if it's going to come double. So as he does that, I come around, catch it, DQ, down. I just push the hips into the leg, or again, take that in there, here, and move out. Some finer points of this roundhouse, okay? As it comes in here, I might strike into the thigh. or come here. This one hurts really bad. That usually makes them roll over. Okay, sorry.
Brown belt, right?
Yes, this should be brown belt. Side kick, step and side kick. Right. Like that. So on this one, it's tricky. As he comes in, it almost looks like a front snap kick, but he changes his hips and chambers there. If you try to go to the side, you're going to get kicked. So the way I do this one, two ways. One is I sit back, and as he kicks, I cut this down. That's on the stomach meridian. And then he walks like that, okay? So I'll do it again, but I won't kick you, so do it real faster. Boom! Like this. The other one I'll do is I do just like I did the other time. Boom, here, and that comes to get behind the knee. You can push them forward or pull them backwards, okay? There are a couple other ones, but that's the two that I like for side kick.
And the back kick.
Yeah, back kick. It's very simple. So a spinning back kick, boom, just like that. So as soon as you see him move, you jam him right here. You're going to push him forward. That looks profane. Get over, boy. Or come here. Or grab him. Come there. I disappeared. Or Fukushima. You got a lot of things you can do, but the most important part of that is not the ending, it's the beginning. As you see him move, boom, you've got to be in the lee of the stone. We all know what the lee of the stone is. Right, because we've all read The Secret of Nim like I asked you to. The lee of the stone. Okay, read it. Those are kick defenses. There is a double roundhouse, but it's the same thing. The reason I do this is because if he throws a double roundhouse, and I think he's going to do, no, double roundhouse. Okay, 1, 2, no, 1 here, up, down, boom. You might go to block this one down here, whack, and you eat this one up here, okay? During my 3rd degree black belt test, the guy I had kicking this guy named Robert Waller, he's huge. And he luckily realized that I was stupid and pulled his kick right about there. If he would have kicked me, it would have knocked my whole head off. But that's the idea, it comes here, right? You don't stand here for a kick defense. You're not going to go, what? He's going to break your arm. Mallory almost got her arm broken in her 1st degree black belt test because she wouldn't blend with it. It's as it's coming, you move. You have to move out of the way. You have to bleed that energy off, right? Very important. Maybe we'll do that someday this week.
The last one is the 3 double spinning back kick.
Oh yeah. Well, you also have to do
And not. And
right. Yeah.
So you have to
Spin it. Yes.
spin many times,
Triple. Yeah.
and then you have to defend it.
Exactly. I must defend that one. I can, but it usually involves a
I
fire.
suggest we have a short break and then a half an hour to go.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Thank you. All right. Take a break. I gotta get something to drink.
I like what we did yesterday, the flowing stuff and
What did we do yesterday?
deflections, and at one point we take
Oh yeah. Okay. That's right. All right. So. Boom! This is where I go. Wham! Take this one out. Then Marta, keep your toe shoot right into the shunk. Here, here. Boom, boom, boom. No kiai here. As I'm moving away from young Marta. So as you do your technique, you also have to do your technique in such a way that you don't get nailed. Okay? How do you describe it? Can you guys start to feel that? Yeah. Can you? Let's do it again, and let's see if you guys can feel where the technique is. Or you guys, tell me there. All right? So slow. Okay, you guys saw that one. Okay? He felt it too. Anybody can call out. Anybody can call out. And if it's wrong, I'll just tell you, no, you're an idiot. Okay? Boom. Good.
What is that? Okay, look. I get too much fun doing that. But you start to see, it just happens. It happens. If you look for it, you won't find it. And by the time you do, so, in my head I'm thinking kotegaeshi. Come. Kotegaeshi, kotegaeshi, kotegaeshi. Too late, okay? Didn't work. Takes too much time. Kotegaeshi, no. I take him down, but he's on me. I can take him right down into her. She's taken care of, but he would have jumped on me. Kotegaeshi usually takes too long. Things that work well, Hiji Itoshi. Boom. Iri Nagi. Boom. Sometimes Samkyo works great. Ubidori, finger locks, works wonderful. Kick, uso, and punching to the body works awesome too. None of this with Atemian, okay? So, let's work in groups of 4. Got to go slow, guys. Work to feel where the technique is. When you feel it, do it. Got it? Questions? I got a lot. How'd you make?